We're up. So
Awesome.
Here we go.
Here we go. All right. Well, let me get it rolling on the Facebook thing.
We are here. We actually have a camera over on this side now, which is kind of neat. But so we're here talking about
just whatever. It's a grab bag night.
It is kind of a grab bag night because we're gonna. Well, we didn't have a great subject last time. We came up with a lot, but
we talk about all sorts of important things.
Depends on who's watching. If anybody, for that matter. But Flat Earth, that's kind of the, what was it, about 10 o'clock last night you texted me? You're like, what the fuck are we doing tomorrow?
We're going to talk about it tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Flat Earth is what we're going to talk about.
And that's what we came up with, so we decided to go with it. But, so, now Willie, just run through this with me. Don't even worry about that right now. Unless did you find it? Is that us?
Yeah, I found it.
Oh shit.
Because we want to include people in the conversation tonight, right?
Oh yeah,
comments.
Yeah, we heard feedback.
People have all sorts of things about Flat Earth.
Yeah. Oh, that's the wrong one.
So what do you comment this in group?
So go into where it says edit.
Yeah.
And then tag yourself in it.
Okay.
I think I either tagged you as with, or I just said your name and it tagged. Not sure how it works best.
Yeah, no, I've got it.
Yeah, why don't you get that? So the idea is we're going to talk about Flat Earth, and you got to educate me, because beyond the ice wall bullshit...
Okay, yeah, no, it's... Alright, so, I'm going to be our spirit walker, our spirit guide through the inane, elaborate...
Give me that, I'll
yeah,
you
do it, you do that.
Yeah.
So, one time I was on Reddit, and somebody was talking about Flat Earth, and then I somebody actually started talking about how there's actually I mean, when people think of Flat Earth and whatnot, they probably assume that it's just you have to be an idiot to believe it, so there's probably not much to it, but
right.
The reason why, I mean, I guess some people believe in it, the reason why there is some people who believe in Flat Earth is because there's actually some kind of an insane logic to it. And so, basically, if you can understand how they view the world and how they understand physics, then it almost kind of makes sense in a stupid way. But so the first thing about Flat Earth is you've got the world is kind of like a disc, right?
Okay.
And that's the thing to understand about it is it's not like the world doesn't look like a map kind of flattened, like your standard your, I forget what they call it, the in a grade,
a frisbee or what?
Well, no, I'm saying you know how in grade school you would see on the wall there would be a map, and there's a certain name for that arrangement of the globe.
Yeah, I've heard. I'm not sure what exactly. It's where it's spread flat, right? And so it's kind of an oval shape that they have going on.
Yeah, that's one of them, and then you have the more squarish one, and all of that affects.
What's the squarish one? I'm not familiar with that.
Well, the squarish one it's just literally the square or the shape of the map itself is square. It's not an oval. With an oval, you're somewhat simulating what the planet looks like,
Okay.
The planet is actually a globe. I don't know if this is a shockwave to some viewers, but
right.
The planet it's actually an imperfect.
So here's
sphere.
What once again it goes back to me watching a shitload of Vsauce, but there's a point where no, it wasn't even Vsauce. What was it? There was somebody that basically described if you were to take a beach ball, right?
Yeah.
And you start cutting into it. You wanted to make a beach ball flat.
Yeah.
It's got a cool design on it, and you would put it on your wall.
That would be the most accurate way of portraying the world in a flat way, but it wouldn't be it wouldn't be good for
Well, right. So the idea is that if you take and you start cutting it, right, and you want to lay it flat, there's always going to be little bubbles and stuff that you're constantly pushing, so it's not really working quite perfect.
Yeah.
And so that's what they do.
But if you were to literally flatten a globe, if you were to flatten the surface of a globe, that's the most true way that you would do it would be kind of like a beach, or to visually represent. Let me phrase it that way. The best way to visually represent that.
Right.
But on a map, that doesn't work for a map. That doesn't work for actually having that be, I guess, a visual guide or something like that. That wouldn't work well in a textbook. It'd be a weird shape, basically.
Right.
So, I mean, this is a little off topic because now we're just kind of like talking about the different ways that continents are like distorted on like a map.
It's a good place to start because it's a confusing ass subject, right?
Well, yeah, because like so you're thinking like flat Earth. What exactly is the Earth? But like so the flat Earth. This is unlike any of those because there's no map that I've ever seen in a school where it's a circle. It's a circular shape, and the circumference, I guess you could say, the outer wall of that circle is the ice wall, and that's Antarctica. So the way they do it is they basically take like a globe, right? And I guess you know how it would be like. So what shape would the Vsauce the Vsauce?
So the thing is what happens is as you cut this globe, right? So it's gonna end up not even longer. But what happens is it spreads in a weird way.
Yeah.
And so they really don't give a fuck about Antarctica or.
Well, Antarctica becomes the ice wall. So
yeah. Well, Antarctica on one side.
I wish we could show people this because this would be a good time to show like a visual. We kind of have to just basically describe it, but.
Well, no. So the point is that if you take a globe and you stretch it, it turns into that oval that we've always seen in class, right? But then now, what confuses me, my first question for you, I suppose, is you're the expert now.
Yeah.
Given your drunken stumblings across this.
Yeah.
But what the hell? How do we go from an oval being the globe?
Yeah.
To like you see an oval
circle.
flat on the wall to a circle with a whole ice wall.
So all right, let's start over. All right, let's go ahead and let's take a drink first of all.
Okay.
Cheers.
I'll drink to that.
So now we're talking about how flat Earth works. Now we're
actually gonna be a long night apparently.
Think of it like a vinyl record. Okay, you're imagining a vinyl record right now. You know how a vinyl record has
which vinyl is it? The Bee Gees?
Yeah, sure. It's the Bee Gees.
I don't know why that always.
Night Fever.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. So
go ahead.
All right, you know the center where you like put the needle through?
Yeah.
That's the North Pole. Where the needle goes through, that's the North Pole. So that's the center.
Okay.
That's that center circle. That's the North Pole.
All right.
And then the continents, just like on a globe. So, now think of it like a globe. You know how the continents go around the North Pole?
Right.
And so if you were looking at the Earth, the actual Earth, the globe Earth, the one that exists, all right, then you would, if you were to look at it from like the North Pole,
we're making statements
down.
Here. What if it's flat though, bro? Like,
You're right. Let's give them a legitimate platform.
Yeah.
Let's give them more of a legitimate platform. What we're doing. All right. So you know how like the continents already go around the North Pole, so the flat Earth is a lot like that, except it's flat. So if you're looking, down
it's
from
like
the
a
globe,
frisbee.
if you're looking down the globe, you would see the continents be like distorted by like because they would bulge around. You know, they would conform around the bulge of the planet. On this, no, it's more of like it's a frisbee at that point. Yeah, exactly. It's a vinyl record.
A vinyl record. Yeah. We'll stick with the
and
one
the outer, like the most outer part of the vinyl record, is the Antarctica ice wall.
Okay.
Now that's an important concept, all right? This is like where like the funny genius of like flat Earth comes in, okay?
Go for it, yeah.
So, the number one question that people always have with flat Earth is it's like, all right, well, if it's a flat Earth, then wouldn't you fall off at some point if you get to the edge?
Right.
But here's the thing: the edge is Antarctica, and you couldn't, if you wanted to, you couldn't explore Antarctica because it's insane. First of all, I mean, you get some people who hike up to like the South Pole and stuff like that
because it's cold as fuck there.
It's
like,
cold as fuck. There's a lot of physical factors, but also you can't have teams. You can't have like official like teams go out and explore unless they have government approval, and that's the crux of the matter. Is if flat Earth is a government conspiracy, and if they control who sends the teams out to explore it, nobody within a legitimate voice at least will be able to ever expose that there's an ice wall, and it's not actually Antarctica. It's not actually a continent. It's the ice wall part.
I get what you're saying. All right, so but here's the first couple questions that I want to throw out. What's his name? So first, you said that the North Pole is the center, right? And then there is no South Pole.
There is no South Pole.
So that fucks with me right off the bat because how do compasses work? Like we understand how magnets have us.
You're asking the wrong questions.
I know. I'm getting way into depth, but
so
that's the first question: is how does this whole I don't know
No, these are
field.
correct questions because the flat Earth goes beyond geography. All right, you have to also you can't just fuck with geography if you're a flat earther. You have to fuck with physics too. You have to like you can't. What I'm saying is you are misunderstanding multiple aspects of the world when you're a flat earther.
Right.
Not just geography. So the physics part is this is where we talk about downward density. All right, so
okay, run me through downward density and what the fuck is that? So
you know what it is? It's gravity.
Well, yeah, it's gravity, but to what degree? Like, what's the difference between downward density and gravity? Of course.
So this one it doesn't make too much sense to me, except for what I know about it is people don't like flat earthers don't like gravity because gravity is used a lot to explain the standard mode of thinking of like the planets and stuff like that, because gravity is what explains things like orbit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So there's orbit because it goes down to what is it? E equals mc squared, right?
Mm-hmm.
The most like basic, makes you sound smart, but principle of that is if you were to take, as far as I understand, and I hope that I get this to a certain degree, but you think of space and time, right, as a big net. Okay, kind of like a trampoline.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah, the rubber field, yeah.
Yeah, the rubber field theory. So, essentially, it's a big trampoline. So, when you put something heavy on that trampoline, like a bowling ball, for example, and that would be our sun.
Yeah.
And so you have the bowling ball, and then you put a marble in it, and you flick it, it's going to rotate around, and what happens is that dent that the bowling ball puts in the trampoline is what's pulling that marble in, right? But the outward velocity, of course, and the lack, So, the same happens with our Earth, because in a smaller scale, Earth has its own small little trampoline that it's on, or its own net in space and time, because it's denting it, and that's what causes things to stick to this large mass. That's the basic principle of it,
Yeah, according to how we view the solar system. The problem is with flat Earth is a very not dense object. Well, it's a dense object for a flat object.
Right, it's pretty
for a disk. It's dense,
so
but it's a light mass. So, but here's another thing: is according to flat earthers, my understanding it follows the geocentric model. Like the Earth being the center of the solar system.
Okay.
I believe that's an aspect of flat Earth.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not misrepresenting their community now.
No, that's
by saying they follow the geocentric. They're like, actually, no, we're not. Okay,
we might be.
We know that the sun's in the middle of the solar system.
Here's the thing: is we're clearly biased here, because if we're misrepresenting them, I don't give a fuck.
I still don't give a fuck.
Do you still give a fuck?
I'm all about intellectual honesty.
All right, that's a good point.
Even if they don't, even if they don't care about it.
Yeah.
But. So that's another. So the reason why gravity is problematic with flat earthers is because gravity would be following too much that whole rubber mat field understanding of like how time and space works in the solar system.
Let me get this set for you. Go ahead.
We need to get some comments going.
No, I'm watching them. There's nothing really rolling in yet. But
okay, thank God that nobody's watching this.
No, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna get this set while you explain to me what's going on with the. How does it? Because it's not.
So downward density. So gravity. So we have to establish first that gravity is problematic, and gravity is problematic because gravity would rise up the question of why is it that why is it that the sun orbits around the Earth when the Earth is the less dense object, according to like.
Oh right, okay, yeah, because it's backwards.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. You're getting.
But they would discard all of that, and they would say like you're on the gravity like field of thinking, like your mode of thinking is completely incorrect.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what they'd call that term, that paradigm. They're like you're on the whole like gravity paradigm, but you need to understand that density is the chief thing that determines.
So ignore all the rules of physics that we understand
except
now.
For density.
Let's start with density. And so now density being the rule, are we the most dense? Like, well, I say we, but is Earth the most dense thing in the universe? Do we even have a universe?
Yes.
How does it work?
I mean, now a lot of flat earthers. I don't have any statistics to back up this following claim. This is purely empirical. This is from my own observation.
We need to bring a flat earther on, like somebody hardcore in the community.
Was it Bob or B.O.B.? What's his name?
B.O.B. is pretty hardcore. Yeah, I don't think he's coming on our show.
That'd be awesome.
I don't think he's gonna want.
That'd be great for publicity.
For us.
Yeah.
Maybe for him.
We'd be a pretty soft. I feel like we could be an easy crowd for him to explain flat Earth to us.
Yeah, I'd take it real easy.
We'll throw you some real softball questions.
That's bullshit.
We won't say the G word.
The gravity word.
We won't say that.
I'd grill the fuck out. I'm seriously confused by how they.
We do like a full show of like being nice to him, and then like the last 5 minutes, just like.
So real talk here. Who do we know that's less popular than B.O.B.?
That's a flat earther.
That's a flat earther.
Nobody. I don't know anyone who's a flat earther.
Shit. Like hardcore.
I don't even know if flat earthers would even describe themselves as flat earthers. I honestly don't.
I thought they did.
I would wager that most flat earthers probably wouldn't be vocal about their beliefs
at this point.
Yeah, it's like,
well, there's a good handful of them that are, because they're putting a lot of propaganda out into the world.
Oh well, it's always the vocal minority. Like, that's the thing, is I don't know how many flat earthers there really are. There could only be like, I mean, I would doubt that even 1% of Americans are.
Well, okay, so let's run with that for a second.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that this whole flat earth movement, any movement for that matter, I mean, you could even take like the anti-vaxxer movement, any of those that are like these loud, total, against the grain movements, and I don't know the numbers here. I wish I did, but shit, if we had a computer hooked up, I could bring this up. Maybe we should do that in the future. We'll actually go through and run the numbers.
Yeah, actually do research first.
Yeah, we'll research our shit. We might start doing that in the future. But in the meantime, like, as a commentary, isn't it weird that you can have such a small number of people, right? And you can have them make such a loud noise, like such an impact. Is that? I mean, that's is it a newer thing, or could they do that back? It's an internet thing, right?
It's really an internet thing,
right?
Well, yeah. Here's the thing: is like, so one thing I've learned about history is before the internet, the people who would make the biggest impact would be people who had access to printing presses, because they could just like you would be reading something, you're like, why the hell is this a thing? Like, why am I reading this? This is just stupid. They're not even like giving
one jackass had access to the printing press.
They had access to a printing press.
Right.
And so like,
didn't you have that same? No, we did. Okay, that wasn't our jackass professor, history professor class that told us that, right?
I don't think. I mean, we had American history. Like I don't think we would have talked too much about the printing. I mean, we could have.
No, it was a communications class that I took.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it was like history. Maybe it was history of press or history of social mass media and communications. That's what it was called. So this class, there was one part that they talked about, is that the first form of mass media was newspapers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the very, very, very first form before that was like Buddhist monks, how they'd sit there and retranscribe.
Yeah, newspapers. Yeah, that would be.
But newspapers was the first real form of mass media, because that allowed you to take in moments to instantly just stamp through the same data over and over and over and over again. Like, you could punch it through, and you could send out that same data to millions of people, thousands of people, legitimately, per day, and you could update it constantly. Like, that was a big change the moment it came out the printing press.
Yeah, and people would they would have like certain like sources of information that they would like really trust and stuff like that, and that's relevant to tonight's topic.
Very, very relevant.
Because I would argue that the flat Earth movement is more of a response to like a rejection of mass media. It's this thing that the things that are like held as like givens, like the things that are like things that people believe in more or less, that follows the narratives that are pushed by like mass media, such as the Earth not being the center of the solar system, we like orbit around the sun, things like that, just like common stuff like that. People who follow flat Earth, they don't reject what the mass media is pushing just because they have a rejection of. Well, I mean, I think they just reject mainstream institutions. Like,
so what is that? I mean, is it people that? Because obviously there's what is it? They always say like anarchy, or like a lot of people jump onto the anarchy train. But anarchy sucks. Like, that's no fun, because anarchy, you can't have the true definition of anarchy. You can't have any sort of any order at all, and without any order, that means you can't even have structured food. Like the idea of eating breakfast every day, that's order.
Oh, okay.
So like true anarchy sucks balls.
Anarchists, people who are actually part of like anarchist parties, they would like they would get offended at that because be like, oh, that's a misconception. I mean, I've never been an anarchist.
Yeah,
but
no, run through it because from what you know, correct me on.
Here's the thing: if you're a part of an anarchist party, you are buying into the concept of you need to get involved in government. Like you're kind of a you don't watch Parks and Rec.
To a certain degree. I mean, I know who Ron Swanson is.
Okay, everyone should know who Ron Swanson is. But Ron
Swanson, the memes with Ron Swanson. Come on, man.
Ron Swanson is an example of like he's a good way of like understanding what like anarchist political movements are about, and that is because he's a hardcore libertarian, right? It's true comedic. They made him so libertarian for comedic value.
Well, that's like Colbert was that same way, right?
Yeah, they're extreme. You're kind of like it's a caricature of an ideology or something like that.
Gotcha.
What's kind of funny about him is like libertarians are like hands off, like little government, but he's in the government. He works for the government. He despises the government. The reason why he works for the government is so that way he can make the government less effective. And that's kind of what anarchists who are part of like anarchist parties are trying to do is if they form an anarchist party and if they can get into control of the government, then they would tool it so that way government is less present in people's lives. But they would. Here's the thing: the thing to understand about anarchists is they do buy into the concept of there being somewhat of a. It's not like they're alien to institutions.
Right. Well, so and I can understand that.
They don't reject people getting together. And
I guess maybe I overstepped in that initial. I was going, the idea of because
you're gonna alienate all of our anarchist viewers if you keep that shit up, Joe.
Oh no. But the idea being, so of course the textbook or what would that be dictionary definition of anarchist is that you have a person who denies any sort of order, but that's not what we're talking about here. Yeah, it's the idea that the actual realistic definition is one who denies heavy government influence.
Yeah.
So that's understandable. I can live with that.
That's basically, and so all right, and this ties in with the whole flat earther movement because they tend to reject. They reject the scientific community's like strict dogma. Like basically they're saying that like people shouldn't just accept that like the world is like a globe without any evidence, more or less.
Alright, so but here's the huge problem I have with that. And I mean, I understand you gotta do your own tests, you gotta find things out for yourself. But there are so many aspects of our lives that kind of reaffirm the whole global.
See, that's the funny thing is if I was a flat earther, I would say there's so many aspects of our life that reaffirm the whole flat earther thing.
No, play the devil's advocate. This is good.
Go to the freaking ocean, man. Like, look out there and you see like a flat. You just see like completely flat span of ocean.
All right, and I guess that's the biggest one. Is I gotta take myself out of my own life because I get in airplanes quite often and I fly around.
Yeah. Do you see curvature?
I do.
I swear I've seen curvature too. That's another thing, but I mean,
with my own eyes, not through a fisheye lens, not on a camera, none of that. Well, then there's the other one you can see. So here's one of the ones that's actually.
Have you ever? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So this is one of the coolest or not the coolest, but one of the things that I discovered. So I got really into photography when I was about 18, 19, 20. Like in those years, I got really into it. And one of the fun things when you get to be a photographer is you do time-lapse photography, right? Now, there was a couple of pictures that really inspired me, and then I did them myself, but they're time-lapses. Mine weren't nearly as cool as the ones you find on YouTube. Camera kind of sucked. But the point is, there was one where it's a lens, and you can see, because it was a long exposure, right, that allows more light to come in, you could actually see the Milky Way in the picture, like just the stars are bright.
Yeah.
The Milky Way shows up, and there's certain times a month that you can see it because the way the Earth rotates. But
that's a bad word. Trigger word.
I know, right? But the point is, there's certain times of the month that you can set your camera. You can see the bulk of the Milky Way when you do time lapse or long exposure photography.
Yeah.
Now you take it a step further. You do time lapse long exposure, which is multiple time lapses in a row.
Okay.
I'm sorry, long exposure time lapse would be but you do multiple time lapses, multiple long exposures in a row, it allows you to see the movement. And when you put it together in a video, which is just multiple pictures in sequence, you can actually see, it looks like you're sitting on a rotating globe and looking out, and you see the Milky Way.
Are you sure you're not on a revolving disc, though? Let me ask you this. Can you do the mental gymnastics in your head
I'm trying.
Right, so those visual images, can you
I'm trying.
Pretend that you wanted to
I wanted
yourself
it to be that I didn't
that
just
it's
assume
a
it was a
revolving
globe.
disc? Yeah.
Let me think. Could it have possibly been a disc that I was sitting on, and the disc was floating and rotating in space?
Can you do it?
I can do it. So,
because if you can't, you need to work on your mental gymnastics.
No.
Maybe one day you could be a flat earther, but until then.
So it's a tough one. So there's. No, okay. I guess it could work. If you really, it's like when you look at something, like let's say there's a picture of a really funny looking dude. Right on the wall, and they're like, and somebody drew it, and they're like, "This is my," or it's like a really nasty picture. Somebody's like, "I drew a picture of you," and you're like, "Oh, that's great." And I'm like, if I squint really hard, and I kind of like close one eye, then I guess it looks like me.
And then you really believe. You have to really.
Yeah, you have to really push. So it's like I can do that, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Therefore, if I were to just open my eyes normally and look at it, it looks like a fucking stick figure on the wall, and they're like, "Yeah, it's you." So I don't know.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, I don't understand it myself, except I mean, the whole. All right, so did we talk? We talked about downward density, and then we kind of like moved away.
No, we strayed away from it because you got to jump on how downward density works before you you got to get quick. Like,
okay,
because I'm kind of not grasping this.
It's
subject.
a lot to grasp. All right, so my source was I was on this website that was like, who knows who created it? I might even be looking at like unofficial flat earther materials or anything like that. I might be. Who knows?
You could be, yeah.
But from what this helpful visual, like it has some graphics on there that like did a really good job, and basically, so take your understanding of gravity and understand it differently as downward density, which is basically this. It's the downward forces of density. So,
all right,
just how how density, buoyancy.
So, okay.
But you know how buoyancy.
So, buoyancy.
Causes
let's talk about this. So
to move upward.
This would be your standard rule where you have gasoline and water in a cup, right? And the gasoline's always going to float to the top of the cup.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's density. All right. So downward density.
Downward density is what causes less buoyant objects to move downwards because more buoyant objects are moving upwards, which pushes the less.
But why? Isn't that gravity?
Joe.
It's density.
Joe, you don't understand.
I don't get it.
All right, so let me explain it again. All right,
let's go again.
So,
one more time.
Buoyancy.
Holy titties! We got a lot of people watching. What is this?
Buoyancy causes more or less dense things to move upwards.
Yeah.
And downward density causes less buoyant things to move downwards. It's not gravity because that's what that is the deep state or the what do they call it, the New World Order, trying to like put ideas of gravity in your head so that way you could be their slave.
Okay, so let's run through one more. What?
No,
hang on, you just said what?
Yeah, no, that is.
It's not making any sense. Okay.
It's because there is no sense to be made from it. I mean,
no, but run through it one more time.
It's gravity.
Okay. So how well do you understand this subject?
I understand it as well as that single website can inform me on it.
Okay, and that's pretty. I'm gonna take it that was a not young.
How many people that buy into flat Earth are? What kind of sources are they? Like,
good question.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned,
so whatever sources that you could find on a random Google search when you're kind of drunk, probably, right? I don't know.
I hope so.
Maybe.
It was pretty rough information.
It was just a late night.
It was just, I was just curious because what was cool is I walked out of that and I was like, wow, I can actually like somewhat explain. No, I mean, all right. Okay. So the whole downward density thing, really, I mean, I'm kind of just playing around. Like the thing to understand, it's gravity. It is that's what's ludicrous about it. It is. They don't mention the word gravity at all in this article, though. They talk about they describe downward density very thoroughly, but anyone who's paid attention in their physics class will realize that they're just talking about the force that we know as gravity.
God, that's painful.
It is painful. It's also not. We're kind of giving this whole thing more like legitimacy than it deserves.
Yeah,
it's like we're discussing this like scientists would be discussing.
Right,
we're like trying to
we're
like
talking about what was okay. So is that on the side note? What was Alex Jones, right? The crazy guy. He did the interview with what's her name?
Oh,
I don't know. She's like Fox or
Kelly.
Megan Kelly. Yeah.
Megan Kelly. Okay. Cool,
right.
Yeah.
So she interviewed him, right?
Okay. Yeah. This is good. I'm glad we're moving here.
Yeah. Because this is somewhere where you're going to be really hot on the subject, and I'm,
Well, it gives us a chance to not talk about flat Earth.
Yeah, I'm down with that. We've had enough of that for the night. But so Alex Jones, right, did that interview with Megan Kelly, and a lot of people were pissed off because Alex Jones is a fucking batshit crazy dude.
He has some very eccentric theories. Yeah, he's batshit crazy.
Yeah, he's batshit crazy. Like the one that I told you about the podcast. It was a Joe Rogan podcast where he's on it, and he's just like starts spouting out about the wizard child molesters, and I'm like, what?
Interdimensional.
I was just like, dude, this guy's off his rocker. Like, how do you say something like that and expect people to take you seriously?
It sounds like you're trying to defend interdimensional child molesters.
Definitely am not.
All right.
No, I'm saying that shit's batshit crazy.
Molesting children is wrong no matter what dimension.
Agreed. But
we can definitely agree on that.
we can agree on that. But so taking it back to this dude being on like a legitimate news source instead of his own podcast, because like right now we're on a podcast.
A lot of people who don't like Alex Jones, they had a problem with him being on that.
Yeah, people got pissed off
because they were like, no, don't let him like talk about any of this crazy stuff, because then the other crazy people will like it'll feed them.
But
like,
so on that same note, like we've seen crazy people on the news a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like there was the Arby's guy.
You have to see someone who's not crazy on the news. Am I right?
All right. Just tuck that away.
Yeah.
Let's not do it.
Okay.
Yeah. You need your drums out.
No.
Or no, Taryn. Who was it that was doing that? Was it Taryn or Rob at the party? We had an awesome New Year's party a while back.
Oh yeah, with the rim shots. Like
the rim shots. Oh no, that wasn't. That was the New Year's. That was my birthday party roast.
Yeah. Well, I kept on getting in trouble because I wasn't doing those. Like
somebody else came in and did them.
Yeah.
Was that Taryn?
Probably.
Like who has no experience on drums at all? He just came in and started rim shotting like a champ. It was awesome.
You gotta give someone a chance to do that stuff.
Yeah, you know.
But Alex Jones, bring it up. So, the dude, he was on Megan Kelly, and well, he got. So the big thing that he talked about on that one was the Sandy Hook. That's another big conspiracy.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So
I don't know nearly enough about that though.
Well, to be honest, I don't either. I mean, like maybe we aren't doing these justice because we can't be all informational. But I mean, I did listen to that interview, and from what I understood about that is his theory is that basically it was all.
So what was it? Just give me the rundown because I don't even.
It's a conspiracy. It was planned. Nobody. So his thing was that no children actually died in it. What we thought were the children victims were actually actors paid for by the government. This is supposed to be an Obama administration conspiracy to create an incident of gun violence that was just completely inexcusable, you know, and it was supposed to add fuel to the fire for the argument of gun control.
Right.
So the idea was you create something like Sandy Hook, because Sandy Hook was especially like impactful on the American public because it was a mass shooting at an elementary school.
Oh, okay. You know what? I know. Yeah.
Hang
on. I want to try something. Do you want to try something really weird?
Let's do it.
Okay. No.
What else?
Well, I say let's, but I say you.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you down? Hang on. We're gonna throw that. Are you down to try and entertain people for a good 1 minute?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think you can pull that off?
Yeah. Let's do it.
We're gonna try a newbie here. We're seeing that we're feeling this out as it goes.
Okay.
All right.
What are we doing?
I don't know. You gotta talk about flat Earth or fucking saying, or talk about how awesome I am. I'm a pretty cool dude.
Okay.
You have 1 minute maybe a minute and 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to leave you right here because I got to piss like a racehorse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see what's happening here?
Yeah, I see what's happening here.
I just did that.
All right. Well, here we go.
Yeah. So, entertain. See what happens.
So, basically, when you're doing a podcast, you want to be unobtrusive when you're going on a piss break. If you ever need to go on a piss break, I've never seen a public show or any kind of a news broadcast where they just nonchalantly take a bathroom break. I know I did one a couple of shows ago, but if you're gonna do it, you want it to be unobtrusive is the thing to understand. This isn't too unobtrusive. Like, it's very clear to everyone watching right now that I'm holding down the fort because he's taking a piss right now. There's no easy way to break it to you all. Joe's taking a piss. And so it's up to me to hold down the fort. Holding down the fort. Just got this game called Monster Hunter World today. I'm going to play that after this broadcast. That's going to be pretty cool. Never played any of the Monster Hunter World games, but this one looks pretty good.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked well.
What are you droning on about over here?
I'm talking about Monster Hunter World.
The fuck is that?
It just came out today. It's this game where you can like get in 4-man teams, and you go into a world and you have to take out the monster, and all of the equipment that you have, it's built from the other monsters that you've like defeated, and so it's like. It's like you and your team, you kind of like, the equipment that you use is a reflection on your experiences together hunting monsters.
This is like a PC game or some shit?
No, this is on PlayStation 4.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
So that's what I just purchased that. I haven't played it yet, but gonna be hopping on that in the future.
There was it was weird because I was on Instagram just scrolling through Instagram, and there was a bunch of different games. It's like pick one that you would play or do or whatever for the rest of your life. And I don't even remember what it was, but I Google searched the name of the game, and it kind of like there was a. Granted, I'm talking from such an out of the world perspective because I don't really game, you know. I don't really. But like, what's the one where they've got the pyro and the?
Oh, TF2.
Yeah, TF2. Okay, yeah. So TF2 looks fun as fuck.
Yeah, that's a good game.
I mean, if I were to play a game, because I remember playing games and really enjoying. Like, we used to play Halo 2 like nobody's business.
Yeah, that was a great game.
This awesome game.
Play Ratchet and Clank as well.
Ratchet and Clank was good. Yeah, we're taking it. Yeah, like
Super Smash Brothers.
Dude, Super Smash Brothers. Always down with Super Smash.
I was just playing Mario Kart 64 today too, and I was playing on the CRV television.
Oh, hey,
dude, it was the craziest shit ever. I was playing it, and like somebody was like. They were like a little bit ahead of me, and I couldn't barely see them on my mod. It was like I was like, holy shit! I've never been so intent on trying to like take out like a few pixels. Like I was like trying to shoot. I was trying to shoot my green shell at him, and it was like literally like 3 pixels, like 3 weirdly colored pixels on the mod and the TV. And I was like, how did we do this back in like 2001, like 1999, 2001? Like how did we like play this shit?
That's why we have better eyes.
Because, like, now I'll play Mario Kart... Yeah, I know, right? It's, like... But now I'll play Mario Kart 64 on HD television, and it's
well, it looks like dog shit.
It looks like dog shit, but at least it's dog shit in pure clarity.
Right. But here's the thing is, so, like, back in the day, remember we had GoldenEye?
Oh, yeah.
64, yeah. I remember one of the coolest things I ever did, I was so proud of myself, is there was a little pixel on the screen, a little black dot. I was in the snow level, like the second one on career mode.
Yeah.
Right? And, I don't know, we had to be in like, I was in like 6th or 5th grade or something, so you were 3rd.
Yeah.
But I remember pointing my little not sniper, it was a silenced pistol.
Yeah, I remember that, aiming how that worked.
And I threw my controller on the ground, I was like, yeah, fucking did it! Like, I got it! And I jumped around for a little while.
That is a real feat, because in that game, getting headshots was so difficult.
Dude, it was a bitch.
Somebody actually made the case for that. Like, that game kind of sucks. Like,
really?
No, it sucks because it's really hard to handle. So like.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
how aiming works in that game? It's like it's something like like multiple in most games you have like 2 joysticks that can like decide your like how you like move around and how you view things. But in that game, you have your moving around one, so you like how you move around on the ground, and then if you want to shoot up, you have to like hold the left trigger, and then that stops you, and then you like from there you like fine tune your aim.
Was that how it worked?
I think so. It's something like that. It's just weird. It's not as Halo's not the same. It's like Halo's a lot more.
Well, hang
intuitive.
on though, because I know. So our friend Taryn bought that game.
GoldenEye?
Yeah, Gold. He bought his N64 like a month ago or something.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it was 2 months ago, and we all were over at his house. And before we went down to Sutter Street, we just kind of pre-gamed a little bit and played some GoldenEye. And I don't remember how I aimed, but I remember it was challenging.
Yeah, because I think because you have one joystick, right?
Yeah.
You have a single joystick in the center, and then that controls how you move around.
Yeah.
Feet wise, like that can like how you. It's all like I don't know X Y like coordinate wise how you're moving.
Well, yeah, X,
like,
Y, and then Z would be your.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
all Z movement is you have to hold. So you hold that shoulder button, and then that allows you to get that like up down.
Really?
Left, right. Yeah.
That's a fucked up system.
Weird. Yeah. No, it works well in single player when you're like moving covertly through, and then you can like perch up and you can like take someone out. Yeah, you can line up shots well, but in a multiplayer kind of fast pace.
You know what was a cool game? Splinter Cell.
Oh, Splinter Cell, dude!
You remember back when that shit was out?
Splinter Cell Chaos Series, like one of the best games.
Yeah,
of all
that's the
time.
one. I played the balls out of Splinter Cell Chaos Series back in. It was like early high school years. Kind of like when I still lived with you guys. That was it, because I had a video game system back then.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
You played on Xbox, yeah. That one, and I thought you were going to say Far Cry. You remember Far Cry?
Oh, yeah. No, I played Far Cry.
You had the map creator on that one.
Yeah, you could create your own maps that were batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Like you put Jeeps here and fucking gliders. And
I feel like we would call that game something. So it was just like it was crazy. It was just an insane game, but
no, that was Far Cry was the shit.
Yes, indeed. Oh man,
they got a new one.
They have a lot of new ones.
So I don't.
They're not the same.
Are they?
Well, because it's more about the single player experience. Like what we liked out of Far Cry was the map editor and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and we're kicking the shit out of our friends.
They're still good though. I mean, like Rob and I were big fans of Far Cry 3. Which was on, it was on Xbox 360. Yeah. They're on Far Cry 5 now. Yeah. They're coming out.
Holy shit, that far up?
Yeah, well, they sell.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, so what was it? Because there's like Far Cry. I'm drawing a blank. Because there's the map editor. We used to. Oh no. So the idea now is that I haven't played them. This is the weirdest thing in the world, but what's it called? Uncharted.
Yeah, Uncharted.
Yeah. So I've told you about the Uncharted. You've probably played them, right?
I played them. I own them.
So yeah, they're fantastic games.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't play games, and so therefore.
It's weird. You watch games. I remember you. Yeah. This Uncharted's one of them.
Uncharted, yeah, because I only watch a handful of games. Uncharted because it's more of a movie than it is a game.
Yeah. I just think it's funny because I remember I used to watch like Guitar Hero videos. I would watch like people.
Really?
Like, yeah, because I would get impressed by like people who could like 100%, like without any flaws, play like a drum song on like Rock Band. And you used to give me shit for like watching those, and then like you would tell me like
I'll
after
still give you shit for that because there's no story value in watching people.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Yeah. So here's the thing about the Uncharted games, right? I will defend watching those like movies because they have those little cut scenes or whatever. They just basically do.
It's a good story, and it's
it's a what it did for me is when I watched those, it's like watching Indiana Jones. When you were a kid, you remember watching Indiana Jones?
Dude, actually, I'm glad we brought this up.
Oh yeah,
fuck Flat Earther. We can talk about
Indiana Jones for days.
I watched the trilogy recently.
Okay, so what'd you think?
It was crazy. Like,
did you like it, or was it shit movies?
Here's the thing. All right, so we're now talking about Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
This is what's happening.
We're rolling into it.
All right. Here's my big thing. This is my big surprise. Is I found that I didn't hate on the fourth one because we watched the fourth one too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate the fourth one more. I actually realized that the fourth one was bad because.
Wait a minute.
All right.
You didn't hate the fourth one.
I didn't hate it more than if anything, the experience left me hating on Temple of Doom more, and then number 1 and 3, my opinion of them was lowered and raised at the same time.
How so? Because I have a million things. Because I watched.
I don't know.
Indiana
I
Jones.
just my big thing was I changed my perception on them because like I used to think that the Indiana Jones movies were just like fucking amazing films.
Right, they were gold.
They're really not. They're really fun films, is what they are.
They're fun, but they're dog shit
but
movies.
they're like there's tons of plot holes.
That.
I mean, like here's the thing: when you're a kid, you're not gonna like pick apart a movie as much for plot holes. But when you're older, you can't help but pick apart.
Dude, there was a shitload. That
it's
was what got me.
It becomes distracting.
There's plot holes all over the place. Did it stop me from enjoying it?
No.
Hell no. I love those movies to death.
All right, Temple of Doom. The plot holes did prevent me from enjoying it to some extent.
Really?
However, I still like the movie. Like I still enjoy Temple of Doom more than the fourth movie.
Really?
But here's the thing:
that was my least favorite.
I came to terms with the fourth movie because what the fourth movie did.
I'm sorry. Yeah, more than the fourth movie, not the other two, because the other two.
What the fourth movie did that was so inexcusable was it thought that it was in the 80s. Let me just say this: in the 80s, plot holes were a little bit more excused. They were more excusable.
A lot of bit more excused.
Right? So like
I think Terminator's full of them.
Yeah, so that's the thing is in the 80s the standard or the expectation
everybody was on a lot of coke in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean that certainly helped and now people are just on who knows what these days, but
DMT.
So like 2008, I think that was when Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out. That movie was just as wacky as Temple of Doom, at least, you know.
You know it was so what was it? The refrigerator scene? People picked the shit up.
Mythbusters did a thing on that.
All right, so we're gonna just dive into this real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about the fridge.
But not the fridge. No, because we're going on to another slightly taboo subject.
Okay, yeah.
This is something me and you might either. I don't know your actual opinion on this, but the first three movies. Yeah. Not the first three. The first three episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
The ones that everybody tears apart.
Yeah.
I argue that they're not that much worse. That much worse than the 4, 5, and 6.
Okay? Oh, okay.
Because there's plot holes and shit in all of them. Right? But here's the thing.
Oh, okay.
4, 5, on the same argument level, on the same level.
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6. Now, 4 being, of course... No, 5. 5 being the greatest. But 4, 5, and 6 were made in the 80s. Right? 73.
5 and 6 were made in the 80s.
Yeah, so they were made in the 80s when movies, as we just stated...
There's something you gotta understand about number 4, though. There was a lot of coke that was done on that set.
Oh, yeah, but what's her name? Carrie Fisher.
No. Whoa. You're like leaving Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford out of the equation. They did their fair share.
Yeah, they did their fair share, but Carrie Fisher was the vacuum
She was the MVP for sure.
Yeah.
And in fact, you can even see, I think it's in episode 5 when they're doing the asteroid run, there's like a scene where her hand is on like Han's like shoulder or something like that. Yeah. You can see her coke nail.
Oh no, can you really?
Yeah, well I mean, dude, the coke nail revealed a lot of habits from a lot of different people in movies because you can't edit that out in post-production.
Well, you can now.
But nobody's gonna because everyone's got one back in the 80s.
Yeah, well I also didn't realize that back. I didn't know that.
But wait, you're telling me that you think the original trilogy is only a little better. Alright, on what... When we say better, we're not talking about, like, enjoyment. We're talking about, like, the actual, like, merit of films, right?
Okay, you're getting really technical here.
No, I just want to understand how you're saying that.
No, I'm saying on an enjoyment level.
On an enjoyment level, yeah. Okay. Well, that might be so.
Yeah. And you know what? I'll take it a step further. I'd say
you can tell me that you enjoyed the prequels more than the original trilogy.
Yeah,
I can't dispute that.
Okay, I
convince you that you're
enjoying undoable whatever. But here's the thing: is that even on a movie level, they're not that much worse.
Okay,
not that much. Like I get it.
I don't know if I can back that.
Where's Tim? Tim should be fucking barking up a tree.
He should be next to me right now.
He should be. But here's the point: is that all right? So episode 1, one person once told me, I forget who it was. It might have been Rob, might have been Tim, but they told me, they said there was no reason for that movie to exist.
I don't know if I was.
Maybe that was you.
I don't know if I was the one who told you that, but I made that argument.
Yeah, and but here's to counter that. There's no reason for any of them to exist. I could just say, believe it or not, there was like shit that happened.
No, that argument, the episode 1 not belonging argument is that argument is saying that episode 1 doesn't it doesn't fit into the story that's being told into, or it's not necessary for the story that's told through every other movie.
Yeah, and that's
it doesn't tell Anakin's story. It really doesn't. It doesn't tell. The truth is that Episode 1 doesn't tell Anakin's story any better than.
Well, but he does tell Obi-Wan's story, right?
I mean, Obi-Wan is not in that movie that much. No, I mean,
I don't care how much he's in it. It's his story, right?
I mean, what does it tell us about Obi-Wan?
He got stuck with a kid he didn't want to deal with.
Yeah, but we're not that. You can watch like the last 2 minutes. You pretty much like. All right, okay. You can watch like 5 minutes in Episode 1, and you can get that picture.
Right. So let me throw a crazy concept at you.
Okay.
We're gonna cut the 2 minutes of the Darth Vader scene where he cuts off Luke's hand.
Okay.
All right. And Han getting frozen in carbonite.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna cut that into a 2-minute section. Do you really need to see anything of the rest of The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? You need to?
Yeah, you need to see.
You need to?
All right, so let me tell you.
You need to?
Do you want to do this, Joe? Do you really want to?
Oh, that's my point.
Do you really want to challenge me on having to explain why every bit of Empire Strikes Back is important for that story? Because what you fucking definitely need to, you definitely for sure need to show.
Well, here's my point. My point is it's a movie.
Right,
like, did
you
really
need to show the Battle of Hoth because the Battle of Hoth is important for understanding that despite the fact that they destroyed the Death Star, the rebellion is really not in that advantageous of a position over the Empire. They're still getting their asses kicked, so that you're gonna need to keep that scene.
Let me
all right, you're gonna need to keep
before you rant too much. Let me just go back. Okay, I'm gonna counter real quick.
Woken up the dragon, dog.
So I know, but here, check it out. We got Jabba the Hutt. Obviously, in Episode 1, we learned that the Hutts are a big deal.
Kind of.
Yeah, he's fucking got servants and shit.
He did a guest spot on a pod racer, like.
Do you host pod races if you're poor as shit?
Do we need to show that though? Do we need to show Jabba the Hutt commentating on a pod race?
The latest Star Wars movie. Okay.
Okay.
We're rolling forward real quick, and it's on a similar note. But
8.
The pod races. But it was that episode. Yeah, it was 8.
Yeah, they had pod races, or they had no.
They were horse races.
We wanted pod races.
They were cute horse races.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
on the evil capitalist planet.
Oh my god. So what? Okay, what got me on that movie? Great movie. I still liked it. I love the death. Like, I love it.
No, it was a good movie
because it's still a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'm a sucker for them. But here's the thing: is that there was a lot of scenes that were Disney scenes. You know?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
No, like you imagine. So when there was the little, what was there? There was a little midget guy who had his like the leprechaun looking dude. Do you remember that guy? He had the coins.
Are you talking about?
I don't know.
I can't remember the
He
actor's
didn't have
name.
a name.
So was he supposed to be the hacker guy?
No. There was a total side character that was like about 2 foot tall, and he like knocked into something and there was coins and it spilled out and he's like and he like bites one and bends it. He's wearing like a green hat, I think. I might be making that up. But he's like 2 feet tall. I remember that part in particular, and he walked and made sounds like a leprechaun. He didn't talk.
Did you take cough syrup?
No, I'm telling you, dude. No, I will. Hang on. I'm gonna.
I need to see this movie a second time.
No, I'm gonna bring it up on my phone here.
Okay.
But tell me. Hang on. So Episode 8. Tell me. But here, my point.
Bites corn. What?
No, I'm serious. He was like a little fucking leprechaun dude in Episode 8.
Okay.
But the point is that whole movie got way more Disneyed than any Star Wars has ever, and it's like because it was like characters. You remember there was when they were hopping through the casino?
Yeah.
And there was like like crazy makeup ladies and like dudes in tuxedos and they're spilling their tea and shit everywhere. That was totally Disney-esque. I don't remember what movie in particular. It
could be troublesome because the Star Wars movies are also kids movies.
Right.
We like to think of them as like adult movies because we grew up watching them, but like there's tons of stuff in those movies, and every one of those movies that are kind of just like childish and like magical and are meant to just like kind of win over. They're meant to make toys out of. Really, I mean
that's what sells, right?
Yeah, they're creating these weird, lovable alien characters, so that way they can make toys out of them and make the real bucks. But
no fucking way I'm ever gonna find this.
How do we get on the? so I can understand. How do we get on the episode 8 track?
If I recall, it was from Indiana. No, it was video games.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
To Indiana
Jones. Can't go back this deep, Joe. We need to. So we're at Indiana Jones, and then that led us to the prequels.
To the prequels. No, we were comparing the Indiana Jones movies. You said number 4 was awesome. Yeah. And I was like, okay.
Whoa! I didn't say number 4 was awesome. I just said that I came to terms with it more.
Okay, but nonetheless, if you're comparing number 4 of Indiana Jones to the 1 and 3, 1 through 3, that's where I was like, hang on, we could take a step.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's how we.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and say.
Where are we going back to?
We're going back to Indiana Jones. Let's go back to Indiana Jones.
I'll roll with it, dude. I'm down. Okay.
And I'll just clarify and say that the 4th one is not a good movie because it.
Oh, we got stuck on the refrigerator scene.
The reason why number 4 is not as good as the others because it's making the same kind of plot hole mistakes that they do, and is doing so in 2008. The standards are different. And then that led us on to the prequel track, led us on to the original trilogy track.
Was that earlier today you and I had the conversation where movies cannot essentially, like, there's sometimes the magic's lost when you try and make a sequel.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about Super Troopers.
Yeah, with Super Troopers in particular, Mm-hmm. And so with
comedies, comedies.
Well, comedies, but all sequels, because I threw out, like, you can't make a number 2 for Fight Club. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
You know, like, what do you get?
Unless Chuck, what's the dude, the author's name? He would need to...
Palahniuk or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so he did. It's called Choke. If you haven't watched Choke, that's a shameless plug right there. Choke is a fantastic movie.
Oh,
it's a book written by the same like Fight Club was a book before it was ever a movie.
Yeah. Is Choke actually a sequel to Fight Club?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's just another book by the same author.
Oh, okay.
Also a fantastic, it's an equal but fantastic story, just totally different stories.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's about a sex addict who works in a Renaissance fair.
Nice.
Awesome movie. Oh, and it has what's the guy that was you ever seen the movie Moon?
No.
Well, there goes that.
And that's our show.
That's our show. Yeah, all right. We better close that. Actually, at that point, it might be time to wrap this sucker up. It's been good.
You know what? Somebody suggested that we do like a sign off.
Yeah.
For our show.
What, like a handshake or some shit?
I think it was either Kirsty or
like good night and good luck.
Good night and good luck.
Yeah,
something like that.
Or
it could be like, I will, and then you'd be like, I'm Joe. We're the country bros, and then
say we did.
But we gotta come up with something.
How about we're done here? All right, it's been great.
Whoa, hold on, I got an idea for a send off. No, you're gonna like this.
No, I'm not.
It's simple. You clink your drinks.
Ah, okay. I can get behind that.
And then here's the game. No matter where we're at, you just chug it.
You know what that's called?
You finish your drink.
I told you the phrase before gone by. You ever heard that?
No.
So when I was traveling in China, right, there was this. Well, also the Irish people do it too. But there's a word they say gone by, and when you say gone by, it means you fucking chug your drink.
Yeah.
So
that's something they do in China. They say
they say the Chinese, gone by.
So in like
that's a Chinese word, and I don't know. In America, it's like finish it.
Okay.
I don't even know if it's a word, but
gone by.
Gone by. All right. How do I turn this bitch off?
Woo. Good night.
Stop broadcast. Oh, stop broadcast. Yep.